same five. Where does this show go? Where? Please listen. I can be reinvigorated. I didn't love Miami when it was canceled after season 3. Hey, 10 years made a difference. But so next season of Salt Lake could be great. I don't know how they're going to get there. What do you do with these 5 women if Mary doesn't come back? You're going to hire someone else from the town? You're going to have an open casting call and who's going to show up?
I'll tell you,
I sound so negative. I'm so sorry, but who the hell's going to show up for that casting call? Okay. And that's going to be your savior. Save your time, pull the plug.
Oh, I don't know if they can. I think
they're not going to pull the plug.
They have so much money in it, and they have good, Heather,
I love Meredith.
Lisa. I mean, they are really good. They're just missing that kind of, like you're saying, Mary or Jen. They're missing that unpredictable factor. You know what I mean? They need that person. And I think you're right. The 3 friends they're not it. They've got to find somebody else. And maybe that somebody else is someone that's suddenly moving to Salt Lake. That's an outsider that's moving in. That's kind of a friend of a friend.
All these people, like the Lizzie Savetsky, like the people that, like, not her, but the people that rumored are moving states to be on the show. No offense, Lizzie. Go find someone that applied in New York or Beverly Hills or
who's in your
somewhere roster, and just be like, listen, girl. You can't rent something down the street from Lisa Barlow. Wink, wink, wink. Bethany Frankel says on her Rewives podcast, none of you own anything. So rent a fucking house. How much does a house cost to rent in Salt Lake? $1.25? Go and rent the shit for 3 months while we film and work your way in there. And they're going to have to go find someone, right? They're not going to cancel it. It's not going to happen. I get it. And I love Meredith. She's great to me. I like Lisa. So I like everybody involved. Whitney's been on my show. There's no offense. There's no arrogance. It's just, I want this to be great. I thought it was the first and second season were so great. And to me, it had nothing to do with Jen Shah. That the scandal, it didn't. That scene last year, it was about Jen, but there was that dinner party on vacation. I'm like, that's how Miami is now. Everybody's bringing it. Meredith is having a breakdown. So that's enough. Wait, Whitney's now upset and she's reacting. Heather's in the corner doing God knows. It's like each person, it's like a comedy of epic air. That's how Salt Lake was to me. It was so strong. And now what happened? And I don't think Mary's going to come back. I think she's smarter and she doesn't want the church to be looked into. What is she going to do? Be like Carol Raswell, who had the no Kennedy clause? If they're desperate enough, I guess they could try to have her have a no church clause, but
no, but someone will still investigate.
Someone will bring it up. And someone will bring it up. Like Carol said when Sonia brought up that poor Sonia. She lives in her own world, that Sonia Morgan. I guess good for her. Yeah. I was texting with a New York housewife the other day and I said something like, because it was about Ramona, and I said something like, yeah, her and Sonia are like the most vile people. And she's like, yup. And I'm like, thank you for at least agreeing with me on Sonia. I'm like, she gets a free pass because of Ramona. As a human, not impressed with Miss Sonia Morgan on a one-to-one basis. But what was my point? Oh, when Sonia brought up that she was partying on the yacht with John and Madonna, Carol's like, I couldn't do anything about that because it wasn't production. It was a cast member. So even if there was a no church clause, all they have to do is whisper in some cast member's ear and bring up Mary's church. And she's not coming back. But there's something about her, like where she would like just look at Whitney and be like, little girl, you will speak when I speak to you. Pipe down, little girl. I am not in the mood. She just was unhinged and said anything. She was funny. Crazy, but funny.
I love that you brought that up. And to your point, this actually makes me go back to Potomac and kind of eat my words here a little bit. It's because, after you say all that, and now being a producer here in LA and realizing how hard it is to cast, I do see why, they're going to stick with Robin, Giselle, Karen the Grande. They're going to stick with them because they're good and they're good enough. They are good, even though they don't provide a ton of depth anymore, you don't hear a lot about Giselle's life. they're good, you know? So that, and look at Potomac. I mean, I think I love Monique Samuels. I love her in real life. I do think the show's gone on well without her. It's not the same. I do think Monique brought another level of depth, you know, and some significant wealth, because Chris Samuels, being a former NFL player, did have money, been to their house, beautiful house in Potomac a couple of times. You know, but you know, they're going to try to recast. They've got to go through, like you said, their background of rosters. Who could we maybe move to Salt Lake for a year, or they can rent a place for 4 months of filming? You know, who can we bring in that can keep this going? Because they do have good people in Heather and Whitney and Lisa and Meredith. They're characters. They just need
4. I kept saying 5.
Yeah.
We're down to 4. 1 is going to jail, guys.
All right.
She's getting locked up. Okay, so nothing else. We don't want to talk very quickly before we go about Chris Bassett thanking producers.
Okay, really quick. Then I got to love you and leave you.
Yeah.
Chris Bassett basically thanking producers on Twitter this week, essentially saying that, you know, really thank you for showing over and over again that these women are lying, and they really are lying on him. I mean, it is kind of crazy. And this is where I do think the show has jumped the shark. It's not the ladies' fault. It's the producers' fault that they're holding on to this. But I mean, over and over every scene now, even in the latest episode of Potomac, they're trying to make like Chris is hitting on these women. He has nothing to do with them. The producers go back to these scenes where these women are recalling when Chris hits on them, and he doesn't say a fucking thing. He's on his cell phone. I mean, I love me some Ashley Darby, but that he did not slide into her DMs. He hit her with an IG message when she was already out, and he's the manager of a popular bar and restaurant in DC, going, you should bring your girls to the W, because he's promoting his business. Like, I am with Candace and Chris. Like, it is frustrating, but I do think they've done Candace did an interview recently, and she said, look, I think people see through the BS like completely. And they do. I mean, I don't know. I don't think anyone is thinking Chris Bassett is a dog. He's not interested in any of these ladies, and it couldn't be more obvious.
Andy Gal is like, you're all crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll record another episode tomorrow. I'll give a little behind the scenes, 8 a.m.
I need you to text Kim D and ask her if Louis, in fact, bought all of Teresa's girls fake Cartier. I need you to
Can I just say before, as we wrap up on that, I just did a Patreon with Kim on Saturday this past week where we deep dive. You know what? Mr. Realias has picked a bracelet that, guess what? David from Behind the Velvet Rope has. So I have an original. So I held it up. Kim and I deep dived this. Kim had some advice for him. I have the bracelet. I'm obsessed with the nail bracelet. I have it. So if I saw it in person, I could see if it was, you know, but Kim, we just did this. Kim had some advice. Kim is heading back to Cartier. Kim ain't letting this go. She's actually heading into Cartier. I'm not kidding you. I kid you not. She has a whole thing where she's going to go to Cartier. So let's not get into that. We'll talk about that